Quick, slow. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1. All these versions of two-step. This is episode 10 of Swing to the Rhythm. My name is Gilbert, your host. This is Damon here, owner of D'Amico Dance and co-host of our new show. We're one of the only shows in all of the internet discussing country western dancing and also West Coast swing. And we're giving you the most up-to-date information on country western dancing. Today's episode is two-step. Let's do it.
Such a debate. We're near that on any other dance style as far as what is what. You know what I mean? Two-step is certainly the one that gets people riled up the most.
Why is that?
Well, I just think that out of all the dance styles that I teach, that you teach, I think there are more versions, local versions of two-step, than any other dance out there. When you think of waltz, for the most part, or you think of cha-cha, or you think of salsa, it's got the same basic. And they've been around a long time, and it's been visible, whether through the internet or before that, watching ballroom dance on PBS way back in the day, for those of you that are old enough to remember Juliet Prowse, watching, that on PBS. I guess more subjective, because it wasn't mainstream. You didn't see it unless you went to your local country bar. So that's where you picked it up. And of course you assumed they're saying this is two-step, and someone was teaching a class or teaching you how to do it, and they were like, this is two-step. Well, of course you're going to believe that. I've seen so many different versions. You've seen so many. I mean, heck, you go out today at any one of the country bars here in Houston, one of the biggest country dance markets in the world, and you see no less than 10 different, slightly different variations of two-step on any given two-step song. So it's like there's a lot of different versions. What we're doing happens to be the most current and up-to-date version of two-step. You don't have to agree with that. We're not asking your opinion on that. We know we're right about that. It's being done in major dance markets all across the United States. It's being done in many, many countries around the world. It's not specific just to America.
And competitors also dance in the circuit.
Right. And one of the other things, there's been so little orthodox two-step video online. You know what I mean? It's like, where is it? So that's been a little bit of a failure on the part of dance events, the UCWDC, the ACDA. They're not doing a whole lot to promote what does current country dancing look like today. While they are, promoting their events somewhat, they're not necessarily putting a whole lot of content out there. And I remember the days, and some events still do, where they're like, we don't want you to video in the ballroom, and even today they're doing that. And what a mistake that is to not get mainstream two-step, but more awareness, get it out there and let people watch it.
Market it so that it could generate more interest for newer dancers, but also for the older dancers. Learned a certain version of two-step, updating their knowledge because they claim to be authoritative figures.
Right.
But in reality, when did they learn, and are they keeping up with the times?
Opening their eyes and minds to, it's changed a little bit.
Exactly.
And to be clear, nobody knows our hearts. I can be kind of crass, and I speak it like it is all the time. It's just my personality. It's who I've been my whole life, and so sometimes it's offensive to people, and I get that. I'm not for everybody, that's okay. You used to be good cop, and I used to be bad cop, but these days we're kind of bad cop, worse cop.
Simultaneously.
But we're not hating on any of you. You're hating on us. You don't get it. You think that we're hating on you, when you come in our comment sections all hot and act all like you know better than us on what two-step is. And I mean, that's ridiculous. You're like, this is two-step. I know it for sure because my dad taught me, or my grandpa taught me, or this old guy at the bar taught me, or whatever. And you believe that wholeheartedly, and we know that. And as long as you're dancing and having fun, and more importantly, as long as you're not hurting anybody and you're able to dance successfully with other people, go with God. I mean, we want you. What we really want is for everybody to dance because we think this is the greatest hobby on earth. And so we just want you to have a good time. But when you go out and you travel and you're not doing something that's remotely close to what's happening in the communities that you're visiting, and you don't have as much success, I don't know why that doesn't beg the question, what's going on? Am I crazy here? Why doesn't this work here? Well, it's because you've got some homegrown version that's only, native to your region, to your small town. And that goes from town to town. I've said this before, it's like, it's different from one side of Houston to the other and south to north, doing a slightly different version. Most of the time, as you've noticed, and you've seen many, many times, when someone counts, 1, 2, 1, or 1, 2, 3, 1, if you're talking about the leaders part starting with the left foot, they're like, it's left, left, right. You guys, come on, stand up and act like you got some common sense. I'm not even kidding. You have never done a two-step basic where you stepped with your left foot twice in a row. You need to put yourself in check. Stand up before you get in our comment section and say something and open your mouth and let the whole world see that you can't count and that you don't know how many steps you're taking. I mean, that is really quite ridiculous. So it's like what they're actually doing is left, right, left, but they're just kind of halfway taking that right foot, so they're going left, right, right, left, right, left, right, but they're only counting together. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Well, that would signify you're transferring weight 3 times. You can't transfer weight 3 times and start with the same foot every time. That's an odd number of transfers of weight. That's not going to work out. So it's like, so every time they do that and they want to argue with me and they're like, I'll show you, it's 1, 2, 1 or whatever. Yeah. I'll have them do it. I'll say, well, do it again and let me see what you're doing. And I'll watch them and they'll go 1, 2, 1, which is actually 1 and 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3, 1 or what? 1, 2, 3, 4 or what? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 5, which is actually how many beats we're using. 1, 2, 3, hold 4, 5, hold 6, which is what they're actually doing without knowing they're doing it. So I'll say, do that one more time and count it. And they'll say 1, 2, 1. And when they say that, simultaneously, I say, quick, quick, slow, slow. And they go, wait, what? And I say, do it again. And I say, quick, quick, slow, slow. And they go, boom. And they're like,
it shatters their
I'm dancing quick, quick, slow, slow. I know. We know that's what you're doing. So it's okay for you to have strong opinions. We have strong opinions, and we can have different opinions. But at least get up and figure out that that's what's actually happening, And 1, 2, 3, 1. Oh, okay. Why do we like to count it quick, quick, slow, slow? Well, we want to signify that it's 4 steps, 4 words. Quick, quick, slow, slow, right? We also want that association to be built with you guys out there and our students here, that 2 of the steps are quicker and 2 of the steps are slower, which gives the dance rhythm. That's what it does. Now, whether you like to bring your feet together and you go step together, step, step, that's still 1, 2, 3, hold 4, 5, hold 6, that's still the same. Or if you want to do the more current version, then you're going to be passing your feet on the quick, quicks. Now, I will, right here in front of God and everybody, I'm going to tell you, I'm guilty of my quicks being too big sometimes. And so when you're watching my breakdowns, my class recaps, sometimes my steps look like they're the same size. I have actually been actively working at making my quicks smaller again. I do believe they should pass. Have you been thinking about that?
Yeah, all the time.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You and I haven't had this conversation. Yeah. But lately when I'm out, I'm like, okay, we're getting a lot of people in the comment section acting all crazy and acting like we're just walking. You know what I mean? And a lot of them just aren't watching and don't have any sense of timing or rhythm. And they're in our comment section saying we're walking. Meanwhile, we're doing quick, quick, slow, slow the whole time and doing, 40, 50 moves instead of the 3 moves they know. Yeah. And they're acting like we're just using our arms and walking around.
Yeah, plus the casual dancer, if you're just a weekend dancer and you don't do this full time, to be able to analyze what's going on in a video is nearly impossible because they're just, how are they able to identify what's going on with the people's feet, the timing, and what they're doing to make the dance look the way that it actually does?
Yeah, it'd be very rare for an amateur to be able to look at that and go, oh, I see what they're doing there. You just don't have those eyes.
It takes hours of practice to do that.
Yeah. So I'm trying to make my quicks smaller. One is because I believe they should be smaller, and that's what I teach all the time, and I want to practice what I preach because we are the example for our community. And also because you sparked a nerve in us. Those of you out there that have been saying that, I'm watching, I'm going, what the heck are they looking at? You know what I mean? How can they even possibly be saying that in the comment section? But the world is upside down right now.
Yeah.
And so I've been actively working to make my quicks smaller. Just to kind of negate those kind of negative comments. Oh, they're just walking, whatever. If you're one of those two-steppers out there that's learned some obscure version of the dance, all we ask is that you look around. Are you doing what other people are doing? It's like if you're the only young guy on the floor that's dancing sideways down line of dance, side together, side together, side, and that girl is dancing with you looking over your shoulder like, I wish I wasn't out here. And you had her, man. She said yes. I mean, that could have turned into a date, a relationship. You could have married that girl. Kids. And then you're the only dude in there that's dancing sideways in a sea of people that's dancing forward, and you're not the guy anymore. I'm going to tell you are not the guy anymore. So please check your surroundings. And do what other people, close to what other people are doing.
I've seen a couple here and there out at the club doing that. They're going sideways for the entire dance.
The whole dance.
They don't look like they're having a great time.
No, and the girl just wants off that ride.
Yeah. It's true. It's like you look at their faces and you can tell, and it's uncomfortable. And I feel for the guy because it's like, I'm surprised I made it this far because when I started dancing at Wild West Houston, this was 12 years ago, I would watch one couple dance two-step. And then the next couple after them, they were doing a completely different dance. So I understand what that guy... Oh,
you mean the next person dancing around the floor behind them?
The same song, next couple right behind them. I'm surprised I made it this far just because of how much misinformation there is out there and how wild and crazy. One person will be doing one version of two-step. The couple right after them to the same song are doing a completely different dance.
Well, thank you for trusting me. I was like, don't... Cover your eyes. It'll burn your eyes.
I had my doubts. I honestly had my doubts just from having that club experience, being like, okay, what's this guy going to say?
Yeah, well,
like,
I'm glad you did.
Yep.
One of the other things we talked about before we started the podcast today, is the history of two-step. I pride myself in knowing things about dance. I'm certainly an amateur dance historian, and any dance style that I've done, I have gone to great lengths to try to find the history of those dances. I have rewritten on Wikipedia and other places some of the definitions as far as the dance descriptions are concerned, because I have taken the time and I pride myself in it. My father was a professional dancer his entire life, started teaching in 1948. Got a lot of information from him, got a lot of information from old timers, wanted to know the truth behind what was going on. Definitely fact checked myself on stuff. People think that I just spew stuff out like I don't know what I'm talking about. Two-step is definitely a descendant of Foxtrot. Anybody that wants to say, otherwise, more power to you. I would love to have an open dialogue and conversation with you about your sources, where you got that information, and why you would discredit the fact that Foxtrot has been around since the turn of the century. It's been around a long, long time. It's one of the first orthodox dance styles out there. Actually came from waltz. If you didn't know, Foxtrot actually came from waltz originally. You probably shouldn't argue with me on dance history, because you're not doing your homework, and then you're just getting in the comments and acting crazy like you know stuff you don't know.
So that's Foxtrot.
Foxtrot actually came from waltz. Yeah, exactly. The similarities in the dance and the reason why the old timers bring their feet together, which is indicative of bronze level Foxtrot. In bronze level Foxtrot, it goes slow, slow, quick, quick, which is the reason why two-step was counted slow, slow, quick, quick until the 80s, when collectively a group of people that were trying to form a circuit and getting information across the country to each other about how two-step should be danced and how it works or whatever, switched it to quick, quick, slow, slow. Simply because it was easier for the patterns to begin on the quicks and finish with finesse on the slows. Now, whether you start on the quicks or whether you start on the slows doesn't matter, because once the person is dancing, you can't really look at the floor and say, they started on quick and they started on slow. You can't tell. But what you can tell is that the speed is there on the quicks, and then there's this slower finesse on the slows, and that all of the spins in the dance of two-step begin on quick, quick. So if the dance is actually dance slow, slow, quick, quick, then why would you go slow, slow and start a spin halfway through the basic? You know what I mean? It just didn't work, which is the reason why the powers that be and the people that were really focused on teaching the dance and to the masses and getting people to be successful with it decided to change the timing to quick, quick, slow, slow. Now, if you begin on the slow, slow as a starter step, I think it's a good idea. I do the same, you do the same, depending on who you're dancing with. Yep. If you're dancing with somebody that you dance with on a regular basis, you might move right into a quick, quick with that person because you know they're going to pick up on that, and you're a skilled leader and you're conveying that message. Otherwise, oftentimes I'll do a stationary slow, 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 just to make sure that my partner is acclimated to what I'm doing. And now it's much easier for me to transition into a quick, quick and have my partner know that that's what I'm doing. But once we take off, I'm definitely focused on doing two-step in pieces of quick, quick, slow, slow, not slow, slow, quick, quick. Right? But in Foxtrot, in bronze, in beginner level Foxtrot, and first you must realize that there's always going to be so many more beginners in any dance style out there than there are going to be intermediate and advanced dancers. I mean, come on, think about it. Use some common sense. Think about it. The people who excel at dancing are the ones who put in exorbitant amounts of time, to actually do that. The rest of people are casual dancers just having fun. Nothing wrong with that, right? But I mean, here in Houston, we got about 6 million people in the surrounding area, and we have literally, a couple of 300 people that dance two-step. In a community of 6 million. You think there's going to be more beginners out there than there are any other level? Of course there are. You know what I mean? And so in beginner Foxtrot, they go slow, slow, and step side together. They brush their ankles and step side together. Slow, slow, and side together. that is so much like early stages of two-step, because they were going step together, step, right? And the same ones that are in the comment section saying that the dance goes 1, 2, 1 are the ones saying that the dance isn't danced quick, quick, slow, slow. You can't have it both ways. You're not allowed to have it both ways, because when they say 1, 2, 1, they're referring to the quicks first.
1, 2,
So they're
oh,
going 1, 2, 3, 1, and they're like, it's not quick, quick, slow, slow. It's slow, slow, quick, quick. And I'm like, dude, what are you saying?
Inverted, backwards.
I mean, anything they can say to get in the comment section and be ugly and act like they know better than the people who do this full time. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So as you progress, in Foxtrot, and you go from beginner and you get into intermediate, you start passing your feet. They teach you that. So they take your money for a while, and when you go to Arthur Murray, Fred Astaire, they take your money for a while. They have you close your feet in Foxtrot when you learn bronze, and then when you graduate to silver, which is intermediate, you start passing your feet. Well, that's very much is what is happening on the two-step floor, except that teachers like myself and a lot of others decided not to force people to learn to bring their feet together when the end goal was to get them to pass their feet. And when you go out in social dance, which is not happening in the ballroom community in the Houston area anyway, so it's like when you go out and dance, everybody's passing their feet, and then you learn to bring your feet together. So you're holding up traffic because you can't possibly move the same speed as everyone else if you're bringing your feet together.
Yep.
Now, I say when in Rome. So if you go out, to the country and you go to a wedding out there, whatever, and they're doing a barn dance or something like that, if everybody's bringing their feet together and got the girl in the headlock and got their arm around the girl's neck, you should probably dance like those people. You should not get out there and look all pretentious and try to pass your feet. You're just like lapping everybody and nobody appreciates it. So, if you already know how to pass your feet and do a more current version of the dance, I would say that you need to calm it down a bit, not travel as much and enjoy it and dance with more rhythm, but don't try to out-travel everybody. Move with the flow of traffic, right?
That's a great point, because when I dance with brand new dancers, whether it be at, as you mentioned, at a small town when I'm traveling, or whether it be here in Houston, and the lady has no idea what dance I'm about to do, I will gradually ease her into a passing step.
Yeah.
Rather than so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by bringing my feet together just to get her to understand this. Hey, we're doing a quick, quick, slow, slow, basic. And then when she gets comfortable doing the steps, quick, quick, slow, slow, then I start to ramp up the speed and travel my steps, rather than just leaving her in the dust. Right at the beginning.
Well, and especially because she's probably danced with a few people who told her to bring her feet together. So her idea of two-step is antiquated on its face. You know what I mean? Because she's dancing with way more dancers in a bar scene that aren't passing their feet than are, because because that's just the way it is. But it's so funny that you say that, and I think how often you and I talk about things like this, and we realize that we're having these same thoughts that we haven't discussed yet. Which I like. Whatever. Because, and why do you think that is? I'll tell you why I think it is. Why? Because we care.
Yeah.
Because we care, because we want that person to have success. So, we're not just out there like forcing it on somebody. We are going to give them the opportunity to kind of get acclimated to what we're doing, and then ease them into and be like, all right, now that you're doing that, just trust me. Just trust me, and let's go quick, quick, slow, slow. And if I ask you to pass your feet, pass your feet. And if I ask you to bring your feet together, bring your feet together. And you can feel that in my person.
Yes.
And so just get them to be a part of that communication instead of just like yelling at them. It's like, hey, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, and Damon makes another great point. It's because we care, and I also care to understand how things work, and that's why I've been studying with Damon for 12 years, because of how he teaches things, how he breaks things down, and because he values the importance of the moves and how to explain it to the masses.
I appreciate that.
And you preserve the history of it, and it's such a rich history. I didn't realize it came from waltz. I knew that you mentioned Foxtrot, but I didn't know that two-step stemmed from Foxtrot, which stemmed from waltz. Yeah. And what I like to do is I'd actually like to do a side-by-side comparison, so I could take some Foxtrot footage and combine it with the two-step footage. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we could do something. Yeah, we should do that for sure sometime. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to, if I was going to throw out a couple of tips for you, and we've got our two-step masterclass that's going to be available online here real soon. It's 15 individual lessons that are sequences, not just one move, but sequences that you can do to really ramp up your two-step. And also, if you're teaching two-step, you can use it as a guide to teach better two-step in your community. But a couple of things. One is followers, there is not the presence of drive in two-step. It's what we wholeheartedly believe. If I give you a free spin and you spin out in front of me and I'm dancing at you and I'm not in dance frame yet, you're moving the speed of me. So then that's without me pushing you. So when we get back together in closed position, don't ask the men to push you down the floor. Move the speed of your partner. You should also, as a follower, be thinking about what is the overall flow of traffic on the floor. And while your partner is over there trying to think about the many, many moves and information that he's heard, and he's trying to do that while dancing with your pretty self, and he's like freaking out because his brain is going crazy, it would be nice if you were being an active part of trying to move with the flow of traffic, about the same speed as traffic. And you don't have to drag him down the floor, but you certainly don't want to be part of the problem, be a part of the solution. Next tip I would have is that I would hope that you followers understand that any dance that moves progressively around the floor, counterclockwise around the floor, are designed for you to be on the audience side, which is at the outside of the floor. So that little tidbit of information of you followers knowing that as he's giving you these different moves and sequences, that you should actively be working at staying at the rail makes you much easier to dance with than the ladies out there, the followers out there that don't know that bit of information. We just want to make sure that you know that, and it makes it easier to do. I always like to tell you followers to be the metronome. Help him keep time to the song, because typically as he's thinking about that move that's a little bit more challenging, his brain slows down a little bit and he starts to lose track of the rhythm. So I would say you be the metronome, and I think you're going to have a lot more fun out there dancing with guys even that aren't as experienced. So make your experience better by being a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. So just those two things alone will go, a long way.
Out of the instructors that we see on social media, no one else is talking about that information. So very critical information for the followers and leads. It's important that you understand that info, because then you can guide the follower and have more successful dances out there in the country dance halls.
Yeah. Well, I can't quit without giving a tip to the leaders, right? So I call it herding sheep. So to go along with those ideas, back in the day when you were dancing two-step, we used to have our heart facing forward when the girl was beside us, and we acted like we weren't dancing with her. So I would just say turn your heart towards your partner. Anytime the follower is on the outside of the floor, your heart should be turned towards your follower instead of straight down the floor and operating this over here beside you. Just turn your heart towards her. And if you're moving through space and your heart is turned towards her, you're actually inviting the ladies that don't know they belong on the outside of the floor to maintain the outside of the floor. Whereas if they're on the outside of the floor and your heart is straight, or you're doing some pat a cake like this with your heart turned toward the center of the floor, you're actually, without knowing it, enticing your partners to dance to the inside of the room. So turn your heart towards your partner anytime she's beside you, and herd sheep. Have your follower recognize that through your body positioning that you want them to maintain the outside of the floor. That's a huge tip for you leaders out there. Yeah.
Excellent info, Damon.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. And make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Again, this is Swing to the Rhythm, episode 10, discussing country western two-step and the evolution of the dance.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it. We'll have another episode here for you real soon. Check us out on DeMecoDance.com. We've got a lot of information there. You can get to all of our products and all of our stuff there. Check out our new merch. We've got a new two-step t-shirt in there. So pick up a t-shirt online. We appreciate your support. Thank you guys so much.
Great.